Welcome, dear Thrivers, to Thrive It TV. Today, we've got a really powerful episode about narcissistic abuse, and it's a really important one. And it's about narcissists and codependents and what actually unites them. I'm streaming this to Facebook and Instagram simultaneously right now. So if I'm not looking straight at you, you'll know it's because two cameras. But anyway, why this is actually a controversial topic is because a lot of people believe that the differences are what makes narcissists and codependents gravitate towards each other. It's actually not the truth at all. You haven't been told the truth. And the truth is really important on this topic because unless you have the understanding that's going to actually get you out of this, the truth sets you free, you can be stuck in the delusion that a lot of people are when they're trying to recover from narcissistic abuse. So we're going to unpack that and sort that out today. We're also going to have a deep discussion about what codependency really is, because a lot of people can get bent out of shape about that. I'm not codependent, or don't tell me I'm a codependent. But the fact of the matter is, everybody until evolution is codependent. And it actually makes us a target for narcissists. And narcissists are, in fact, codependent as well. So there's a clue to already get you started on what brings us together. So, years ago, I wrote Narcissist and Codependent, two sides of the same coin, and it actually went viral. But I've had upgrades, I've had updates since that in my own healing journey, and I've been wanting to revisit this for years, this topic, and today's the day that we're going to do it. All right, so if you're new to my work and you haven't come across it before, I offer quantum insights and processes which are deep frequency healing that helps you move beyond narcissistic abuse and start living your best Thriver life. So my approach is about passionately releasing you for the endless cycle of trying to think and talk and research your way out of narcissistic abuse, because that actually keeps you trapped in trauma. My processes are an invitation into self-partnering and being able to release yourself from the trauma for real, which leads to genuine healing and not just surviving abuse, but actually thriving from it. So if you want to leave those tribes that are just trying to go through this and hope that time will heal, or the right information one day will give them the epiphany, or if you want to not just try and go through this, but you want to purposely grow through this and truly thrive, well then join me in the Thriver movement. And I want you to declare it to yourself by writing Thrive On in the comments, because that starts a powerful manifestation between you and the universal mechanics. And it's an intention that that's what you want to do. So write it in the comments. Okay, so also too, please share this video while we're live or afterwards in the recording if you're on YouTube, or you pick it up here in socials on the recording. And I'd really love it if you could like this video and add your comments, because that helps the algorithms. Let's get involved in this together so that we can get the Thriver message out there. Beautiful. Okay, so let's get started on today's lesson. Many experts and therapists believe that it's the differences between narcissists and their targets that brings them together. And on the surface, this could seem to be really true, because we know that we're givers, they're takers. We know that, we are good people we're empaths, and they are people that prey on empaths. We know all that on a surface level. However, when we unpack quantum law and we look at it, we understand that that actually cannot be the truth. Now, logically, and this is true, there are good people that are givers, that are empathetic, that are not taken in by narcissists. So why has it been different for us? And this is a really honest conversation that gives you the key to break free and heal for real. So stay with me on this. Okay, it's actually about the similarities. And this in no way means that you're a narcissist and that's why you've got a narcissist. It's not that at all. But we need to do a deeper dive into the similarities so you see that what is going on here. And after I unpack this for you, you'll understand exactly what I'm talking about. Let's start with quantum law. It's a very absolute law, and it is as absolute as gravity. We know what goes up has to come down. We're in a universe with gravitational law. Quantum law, we are in a universe with quantum law, and what it is so within, so without. And what that means is that we have programs of abuse that are already in our system that mean that who we gravitate to and who gravitates to us is going to bring us more evidence of the so without, the exact matching evidence of those already existing programs. That's actually the glue that brings codependents and narcissists together. And we're going to go through what are the similarities that we have, what are the differences, why we're not bad people, but how we actually do need this understanding to be able to identify the parts of yourselves that unconsciously, without you knowing it, and they're not what you've been told, that have made you a target for narcissists. And then you can do something about this to actually end that cycle of abuse in your life and move up and out beyond it, heal beyond it. So today is not about blaming and shaming ourselves in any shape or form. Instead, it's about opening up our bodies and our minds and our hearts to absorb this information and to be able to have big aha moments, because it's the epiphanies, it's those moments that make all of the difference in our healing. Okay, so if codependency and narcissism as a metaphor are two sides of the same coin, let's imagine that the codependent is the light side, the loving side, the truthful side, the side with integrity, and the narcissist is the dark side of the coin, all in it for themselves, lacks empathy, lacks integrity. We know that these are differences, and that is 100% correct. But I'm going to grant you the understanding of what the coin really is and why are we on the coin. Okay, but before we do, let's unpack the similarities so we know they're real and we get comfortable with them, and we know we're not a narcissist, because there will have been times too you've been accused of being a narcissist. Narcissists love throwing that in your face. And, just say me in the chat if you've been either accused of being a narcissist and or you've wondered whether maybe it's me, maybe I do have narcissistic traits. Write me in the chat, because it's really, really common. Okay. So the dark side of the coin, narcissists are amoral. What does that mean? They know they do bad things, but they actually think it's fair game and everybody does it and it's okay to do it. They do pathological things to secure narcissistic supply, which is attention and energy. And according to the narcissist, the ends justifies the means. They don't care that they lack integrity. You have to really understand it. A narcissist does not care. And if caught out in a lie or doing something horrible, the emotional injury that they have is not, oh my God, I was so bad and I shouldn't have done that. Their injury is actually about they lose power and control and significance, and they can't fulfill the agenda that they were looking to fulfill. That's what they're upset about. Narcissists know they're bad, and at a deep inner level, this is so important to understand, because people think narcissists are so confident and they love themselves. They don't at all. They actually have intense self-loathing and self-rejection. They really do. The relationship they have with their true self is disgusting. Hence why they've put a false self up to live their life through. A fictitious character of who they would really like to be, who they're not at all. So, if an individual at the true self level, which is the actual only reality, everything else is a facade, if at that level they think they're a bad person and they don't like themselves and detest themselves, that's exactly how they're going to behave. That's the template. The relationship of self with self, inner self, is exactly how somebody behaves. So, the trick for a narcissist is to try to hide how they really feel about themselves and how they really operate. They have to hide it from the world because they're not going to get the goodies. They're going to be punished. They're going to be rejected. They're going to be abandoned because they're defective and they're unlovable. So they have to hide that. They have to lie about that. However, like gravity, it all comes to the surface. Everything always gets exposed. And I don't know if you guys have noticed, but this time that we're in, this ascension time on our planet, everything that is in the shadows is coming to the surface right now. Narcissists are being outed left, right, and center. You might have seen that in your own life. People that you've thought, oh, I don't know about them, but you've had a relationship for years, and all of a sudden they are showing their true colors. This is going on everywhere. So narcissists are being exposed left, right, and center at the moment. And this is the narcissistic formula to try and combat that. I'm not acceptable as being me. And as just myself, as my true self, I'm bad. My life doesn't work for me. Therefore, I need to be somebody else. So that's the false self that the narcissist is living through. Now, this is the dark side of the coin, right? So a narcissist refuses to be real or remorseful or transparent or vulnerable or to consider others. They're highly, highly invested in maintaining the structure of the false self, which is I'm above reproach at all costs. So they won't apologize. And I'm actually going to do a Thriver TV about that next week. So this malignant killing off of the narcissist's inner being that they've done to themselves. Like, I'm just going to throw you to the side. I'm not going to look at my wounds. I'm not going to go inside to self-soothe. I'm not going to do inner healing work. I'm just going to cover it up with a false self. So that means they're only left with one option. They have to lie, they have to twist and turn and manipulate their way through life, which creates even more fractures to their self, which is so out of integrity. So they become even more delusional, even more paranoid, even more controlling as life goes on for them. And absolutely, they have a twisted view of others and life from that lens, including you. So that's the stage of the dark side of the coin. Now let's have a look at the light side of the coin, which is the codependent side. Codependents, and we're going to get to the explanation of codependent. But suffice to say, if you've been narcissistically abused, you've got codependent tendencies. And you're going to understand why. Now, codependents don't operate like narcissists. They have a conscience, they have a moral compass. And in their natural operations, they're dismayed with feelings of guilt if they've done the wrong thing and hurt somebody. That really hurts the codependent. A narcissist doesn't care. And codependents can fess up. They can say sorry, they can be remorseful. They can own their part in things. They often over-own their part, by the way. And a codependent will naturally gravitate towards the truth. They want the truth. They want to speak the truth. And they know that that's the healthiest way to operate, is just be truthful. Codependents absolutely can have times of insecurity, fear, self-doubt, and poor self-reflection and poor self-soothing. Absolutely. They're not perfect. But fundamentally, at the core, is the desire to be a good person, and they know that being a good person is their inherent self. Do you agree with this? Let me know if you agree with what we've covered so far. Because I think it's important to acknowledge we are good people, okay? Now, a codependent may judge their inner self, have awful self-talk, criticize, self-abandon, and be really hard on themselves. That inner critic voice, right? But they have not killed off the inner self and replaced it with a fictitious character and become totally pathological. Codependents don't do that unless they cross over into the dark side. And then literally they've become narcissists, okay? But we haven't done that. And that's why you're in bed and you can't get out of bed and you're struggling to heal. Whereas a narcissist just changes movie sets, puts on another cap, another personality, another lie, and off they go, right? This is why you're struggling to heal, because you are still, thank goodness, connected to your inner being and your inner self, and you haven't thrown it under a bus and replaced it. And I promise you, you would not want to throw it under a bus and replace it. You might have thought about it, but you don't. Okay, now this is why the codependent does have access to a connection with their true self, which is the only place to create a true life from. And they can heal that part of themselves back to wholeness if the effort is taken to do so, which is not learning, speaking about it, and researching narcissists and narcissistic abuse. It's inner work. It can't be revived without that. And we'll talk more about that soon. Okay, so we've got an understanding of the coin. We've examined the dark and the light sides of the coin itself and how they differ. But we need to now go deeply into the actual coin itself. We need to see what it's made of. What is its structure? Now just breathe and open your body. Get ready for this, okay? This is so vital to understand. The coin is codependency for us and the narcissist. Codependency is this: trying to source self from outside of self. And when we look at humanity, we understand that the entire world has been programmed to be that way to varying degrees. Every person on the planet, before doing their inner healing work and escaping that programmed matrix to come home to their true self, everybody has been living under the delusion of codependency. And it's a mind illusion. It's an egoic mind illusion that we can only be lovable and worthy for what we're doing, how we look, what we have, instead of who we are. So we haven't had, until we do the work on that, we haven't had the beliefs and the knowing and the feelings, I'm lovable as I am. Now, the more ingrained this illusion is within us, the more separation we suffer from our true essence, our true self, and the truth of it at a quantum level. And I promise you, you can heal to this. We are adored unconditionally by Source, our higher self, and all that is. Call that God, creation, Source, whatever you want to call that, simply because we exist. And we've all been programmed out of that. And your ego does everything it can to keep you away from that truth. So if I just get this handbag, I'm going to, feel more worthy of love. If I just lose 10 pounds, if I just get more friends, if I make more money, if I own my own house, whatever it is. So the ego keeps you chasing all of those things to try to be worthy of your own love and your own self-acceptance. That's what codependency is. And of course, in codependency, we want to be acknowledged and loved and accepted by others to even believe that we're worth loving. And it's trying to put a cart in front of a horse that keeps rolling back on the horse, because quantum law says we are only going to get the evidence of what the program is inside of ourselves. And of course, narcissists promised to be the love and the acceptance and the savior of our codependency, but they ended up being the harsh messenger of it. So until we embody that connection to source, which by the way is your natural true essence without the false programming, but until we embody it and heal to bring it back, that connection with source, our higher self and all that is, we actually can't accept our own basic goodness, our own worthiness, our wholesomeness, and we can't truly love and accept ourselves. And therefore the ego, which is the internal narcissist, has got a foothold in our life, which is making us chase all of these things outside of ourselves to finally love and accept ourselves. But it never works and we never get there. And we may also feel, especially after being smashed by a narcissistic parent or a narcissistic lover or friendship or neighbor or family member, whatever it is, we have the belief that until they repent, until they fix this, until they acknowledge us, until they love us, until they're brought to justice, until they go to jail, until we get the funds back, again, we're living in that same codependent delusion of trying to get ourselves from outside of ourselves instead of realizing that we can do the inner work to shore up and heal from our codependency and become whole no matter what somebody else is or isn't doing. Now, this glue is what's holding us to situations that are going to bring more of the pain of our emptiness and our disconnection from ourselves. So, all of that is conditional love. That is not the energy of source, our higher self and all that is. It's not the energy of our true self, and it's just not the truth, period. Everything that hurts comes from that illusion. That illusion is separation consciousness. And it's a third density prison. Those of you who've heard me talk about 3D and 5D, there is your third density prison. Now, our ascension of going to wholeness and a life that reflects wholeness is about getting out of that prison and about dissolving those illusions. So that human illusion, that is what codependency is. And it's got nothing to do with whether or not you're a good person with morals. It actually isn't. There are really bad people that live that illusion. Narcissists live it frantically. There's no inner wholeness there. It's an empty black void of grabbing stuff from outside of themselves to try to feel okay. That's what narcissism is. Now, bad people live this illusion and good people live this illusion as well. Good people that have morals, which you do because you've actually been programmed by your forebears, by society, by advertising, by your leaders, that you don't have a connection straight with God's source creation. Your true essence isn't wholeness. You're not taught that. You were told you're bad, you're a sinner, and there's something terribly wrong with you. So that's what set up the whole thing. So basically, all of us have been living a separation from the truth about ourselves. Narcissists are codependent, horrifically codependent, because narcissists, sociopaths, psychopaths are actually the greatest manifestation of humans not knowing that their source, their higher self, and all that is, loves and accepts them unconditionally. That's actually why they have the horrific need to try to gain a sense of self through desperate and horrifying means. They're severely broken people. They're the ultimate addicts. That's what addiction is. Trying to self-soothe the pain inside by grabbing onto stuff. That's what addiction is. And they're the ultimate addict. They're trying to secure a narcissistic supply, which is attention and stuff that helps to make them feel significant and that they exist, because narcissists are dead and empty on the inside. Okay. So what is true self-love and self-acceptance? People think the most powerful energy in the universe to come back to wholeness is love. Like, I'm just going to love everybody. I'm going to love myself. It's actually not. It's actually not the powerful energy that's necessary. The powerful energy that's necessary to come home to self-love and self-acceptance is authenticity. It's about getting real. It's about getting out of a false self, a false light, a false life, attracted and connected to false people. It involves admitting, accepting, sharing, and confronting our inner fractures and traumas, the programming that's made us codependent, and having the intention that we're going to meet that inner stuff, we're going to load it up, we're going to release it, we're going to go free of it, we're going to let it go. We're going to bring in the essence of our true self and live through that lens and that being instead of staying in 3D. It involves inner work. Now, this is something that a narcissist refuses to do. So in this community, for nearly the last 20 years, people come forward, right? And there are narcissists that believe that they're being abused by narcissists. Now, there's one criteria I always know. If somebody is wounded and traumatized and in narcissistic injury, or whether they're really a codependent trying to heal, it is they are prepared to be honest, to look at their vulnerabilities and their fractures and their inner work, and they're ready to, and they're got the intention of committing to that inner work, to meet their inner self and do the work inside. Narcissists refuse to do that. They just won't do that, because as far as a narcissist is concerned, it's everybody else's fault. There's nothing wrong with them. But the deep truth is they do not want to go to the broken inner self and do anything about reviving it. They have completely detached from it and divorced from it, and they don't want anything to do with it. That's why they can't be humble. Okay. So this essential inner work, when done in a quantum way at the core of the problem, which is the programming and the traumas that we believed about being not good enough and not lovable and not worthy and not acceptable. We got them from our parents. We got them from our past lives. We got them from our programming. That's what needs to be worked at and healed. When it's done in a quantum way, which is very fast, very direct, and very easy. We don't even have to remember who did what in the past. It's all stored in our body, and we just go to that and do the work directly there. And when that's done, and it can happen within days and weeks, that you are getting your way right out of that program. We get returned to the somatic knowing and the embodying of our true essence, our true self, which is in unity consciousness. It's at one. It's in the law of one with source, our higher self, and all that is. So we start to come home and awaken to who we really are. And many people think that you've got to learn to get there. And the crazy delusion, the worst of it in abuse communities is, I'm going to learn all about the narcissist. How does that heal you out of codependency and these inner fractures and programs? It doesn't. It just embeds them in them more. And we've been trained to do that too. You've been led up the garden path, away from your healing and not towards it. It means that you're actually not even on the football field, let alone near the goals. You're not even in the neighborhood. So many people think, if I learn all about it, I'm going to get there. But you don't, because you've got internal trauma and programs that you've never let go of. Without those, when you do address those, you are going to reset and return to the original state, which is your natural true essence without trauma. Then when that happens, we stop trying to source ourselves from stuff and people that was causing us to be in separation consciousness. And it's really ironic. It's so crazy, right? This is the human dichotomy of codependency that narcissists and codependents go through. We believe that I've got to chase stuff in order to feel whole, rather than if I just feel whole, then I'm just organically going to generate more of my wholeness, which means stuff and good people and success and expansion and all the stuff that I want. It's going to be a natural outpour of my beingness rather than trying to get it to get my beingness. But while I'm trying to get it, I'm actually just getting more evidence of the state of my fractured beingness. See how this works? Because when you become already full and solid and at peace on the inside, and it's such a relief when you come back to your true self. And I did it when I'd lost everything, and I mean everything, nothing left. And when I found that peace and that wholeness, I arrived, and it was the happiest and the most full I'd ever felt in my entire life. And then the doing and the getting from that place became very simple. Incredibly simple. Okay, but this state is necessary regardless of what anybody else is or isn't doing. The narcissist is not going to change. A narcissist is a narcissist. Even an unconscious person who refuses to be humble and honest and have empathy and do the inner work, they're not going to change. They're not going to change. And we all have people in our life like that. It might be family members. It might be your lover. It might be your sister. It might be your brother. It could even be your own child. Okay? They are not going to change unless they change frequency. Okay? And they have to meet their inner being to do it. So when we do that change, it doesn't matter what others are or aren't doing, because you get to be in control of your own life finally. And what that does, that melts off all of those trauma symptoms that you've been suffering with a narcissist when you've been on the coin with them, energetically connected at the same frequency of codependency. What it means is you have terrible symptoms and traumas. You have PTSD, agoraphobia, fibromyalgia, thyroid issues, eating and sleeping disturbances. You have anxiety, you have depression, you have social phobias. You can't get on with your life because you are still at a 3D frequency, trapped by an energetic parasite. But when you heal your codependency, they become irrelevant, they become nothing, they lose power over you, and you realize that they came into your life as a massive stepping stone for you to finally stop trying to force them to be your healer and go inside to become your healer for yourself. And it changes everything in your trajectory. So let's talk about personal energetic responsibility, because that's what my work is about. It gave me my life, it saved my life, and it gave me a thriving existence that I never believed was possible for me. And it's this understanding, the true understanding that many people don't talk about with narcissistic abuse. You're an energetic being. You're a spiritual being having a physical experience. So you're a soul and a spirit. And this is a truth that I know about people who do heal from narcissistic abuse, is that you understand that. You take responsibility for that. And you say, it's my soul and my spirit. I'm in a spiritual battle of dark versus light. And it's my soul and my spirit that needs the work. And what does that really mean? It means that When the trauma is inside of us, it's ours because it's in our body. Okay, hurt people hurt people. We've been traumatized by traumatized people in separation consciousness, good and bad people, and we've taken it on and we've got embedded trauma inside of us. Well, welcome to planet Earth. Have a look at planet Earth. It's filled with trauma. Okay, but when it's in our body, it's ours. And as children, we were powerless, but as adults, we're not. Healing our wounds, up-leveling our life, and expanding into new realities requires 100% personal responsibility. It wasn't our fault that we were wounded, but nobody else can heal our inner being except us. And we know the narcissist part clearly. We know who they are. We have no power over that. We have no responsibility for that. And any focus on the narcissist part and staying a victim to that, well, I'm like this because you did that, and unless you get brought to justice, I can't change. Well, hello, here's the newsflash. And I've been in this game for nearly 20 years. Even the rare narcissist that is brought to justice, the person who never did the inner work doesn't get better anyway. It doesn't give them inner healing of their own fractures. And what's interesting is the people that do the inner work on their fractures and take full responsibility and the focus off the narcissist, often the karma goes back to sender and the narcissist does fall flat on their ass. Like, it's unbelievable because it's energetic law. That's how it works. If you're not taking the karma and the trauma and the victimization and you let it go, it all goes back to sender. Source, God, creation, and the field sorts it out, which is how it's meant to be. It's not your responsibility. You're your responsibility. And it's amazing when we work with this quantumly because you see how it all unfolds. So, if we want to go back to the common belief among the majority of the population, which is that victim model, that abusers are the baddies, we were the good people, we were empaths, we were the ones that gave them everything and so many chances, and we're really honest and we've got integrity, and we just want to sit on that and just go, okay, that's how it was, and I'm going to hang on to that till my deathbed. Where is the evolution and the growth and the healing in that for us? There isn't any. Okay? There just isn't. That, I was there. I promise you, I was really righteous about all of it. And it nearly killed me until I realized the deeper truths. And there's also, and I've touched on it, we've spoken about it, but it's that insane belief that somehow learning all about narcissists is actually going to bring healing and relief to the traumatic beliefs and fractures and wounds that we've had going on inside of ourselves from our genetic DNA that we took on from our codependent or narcissistic parents, from our past lives, from our childhood, from all of the programming that we get is so narcissistic and codependent because it cuts us off from our true self and true source. And when we're cut off from that, we go for false sources to try to get relief. And we don't have the manifestation capacity of wholesomeness, health, integrity, truth, decent relationships, successful lives. We just don't. We have to heal that bad programming. You're not here on planet Earth to learn how to heal from narcissists. You are here to unlearn what sets you up for it. That's a profound truth. Okay? And if we don't, and we stay stuck in the victim story that we've been programmed to tell ourselves and everybody tells us to believe, it's like this metaphor. You've locked yourself in a house, you've shut the doors and the windows, and the traumas are still inside of you, alone with you, eating you alive. And time does not heal these wounds. I promise you, I've seen people 40 years down the track that are sick or sicker today than they were when it happened to them. Okay, so the trauma's in our body and it's ours. And as adults, we can face it, we can shift it, And with quantum tools, it's actually really easy, direct, and it's beautiful, and it's so self-loving, and it is so self-supportive. And once you start working in a quantum way with this, you will wonder why on earth you were trying to think and learn and talk your way out of it, because that wasn't working. And you won't just want, I hope I can just survive this. You will start to thrive in ways that you never have, because you've cleaned up foundational false programs that have been limiting you in every area of your life. That's the service unconsciously that narcissists bring us, smashing all of that up to the surface, where life can no longer go on as normal as a codependent. It's too painful. So, wow, this has been a big download, and I hope you're picking up what I'm putting down, because it's everything. Now, I've been talking about it out in the community. I recently hosted my Beyond Broken webinar, which is about all of this stuff. It's about all of the quantum truths, and not survival, but thriving. And beyond broken means we are beyond broken, but how do we go beyond that? That's what this webinar is about. And it explains why the old approach, the contemporary one, doesn't work, and how the quantum work does. Now, the replay is available. All you have to do is write BB, capital B, capital B in the comments, and you'll get the recording sent to you. And I so want you to listen to that if you've been struggling and if what I've said has resonated with you today. Okay. And also too, I've got some accelerating healing bonuses, $297 worth of resources, plus a live session with me to help you that I'm offering for free. But they end in 3 days' time. Thursday, Friday. I'm just thinking 2 days' time. So you would have to get onto that quickly. Pick up the BB, get the recording, make time to listen to it as soon as you can. It's like about 90 minutes. And then that gives you access to the $297 Accelerate Your Healing package, which could be the absolute and actual start of your healing for real really quickly, by getting rid of this delusion and getting straight to the authentic truth about all of this. So I hope today has helped. And what I really want to do is I want to encourage and inspire you to stop doing the definition of insanity, right? We know what that is. Einstein said it, doing the same thing and hoping it's going to get a different result. If you know you've been obsessing about what happened, you've been talking to everybody about it, you're in abuse groups, you've been researching narcissists, and this has been going on. Like, you get some moments where you feel reprieve, and then you just feel the pain and the trauma over again, and it's not getting better. Well, that's the definition of insanity as far as I'm concerned. It's time to look at something different. And you'll know, your body will tell you straight away, does this resonate? Is this worth exploring? Is this working for me? Because I know it works. Okay. All right. So I think that is it. I'm really laying out a path for you to come back to self-love and acceptance, so you no longer believes that your worthiness has to be earned. And you can drop the over-functioning and the obsessive thinking, I should be doing this, I should be doing that. Because narcissists love that. You know, that keeps you hooked up to them, and they keep moving the goalposts, and they keep manipulating, lying, mining you, and they are literally harvesting your life force and your soul. This is a spiritual battle. That's why you're so enmeshed in it. Okay. So that's it for today. Please share this out to other people that are struggling. And it's time for all of us to thrive on. And I want you to write that again if that's what you want. This didn't happen to you so that you could be stuck in the trauma. And this was game over, life over, success over, love over. That's not why this happened to you. This happened to you to turn inside, to rid yourself of the false programs that were never allowing you the trajectory to what you want. which is to come home to your true self and your true life. That's why this happened. So if you want that, right, thrive on. And thank you for hanging out with me and making it to the end here. So keep healing, keep smiling, and keep thriving, because there is nothing else to do. Lots of love, and I'll catch you guys soon.